There is nothing worse the distance that opens up between two individuals when a relationship is broken. The relationship between Adam and Eve and God is now broken. The relationship between Adam and Eve is broken. The relationship that they have to their father, their creator, is broken. They feel the weakness, they feel the shame, they feel their nakedness. And it's apparent from the story that sin isn't God's fault. Sin is in the environment, but it's not God's fault. But God steps in and does something miraculous. God takes responsibility for it. Why? Because his children can't. There are times we find ourselves in situations when we need somebody to step in for us because the chasm that's opened up is just so large. And that's what makes humanity beautiful. Humanity is beautiful when we step into the breach, even when it was caused by somebody else and it's not a breach of our causing. Humanity is at its best when we realize that we are our brother's keeper. We are our brother's keeper, regardless of what our brother looks like, whether that brother be our brother of family, whether that brother be our brother of community, or whether that brother be our brother of nations. We are our brother's keeper. God steps into the story and God reinstitutes the rules of the game. God says, you won't always be surrendered to your weakness. You won't always be surrendered to the shame. You won't always be surrendered to the guilt. I'm going to place something in you, which is beautiful. I am going to place something in you where you will never totally be comfortable with being separated from me. You will never be totally comfortable with being separated from your brother or your sister. You will never be totally comfortable with evil. You'll never be totally comfortable with wrong. You will always have that conscience, and I will always speak to you through that. I will always draw you back to myself through that. God reframes the rules. So even though now we can hear him and we can see each other, and we do so with struggle, we do so anyway. And so all of a sudden the gap between us seems to get smaller. The gap between us and God isn't so large anymore. Why? Because he's the one who's filling the space. He fills the space with his own presence. He fills the space with people who come and they speak truth into our lives. He fills the space with people who come and they share goodness and they step into the breach for us, even when we can't do it for ourselves. He fills the space with a voice that says, I'm still here. And although it looks like the rules are stacked against you, although it looks like you're lost, you're never lost. And the reason why you're never lost is because I never left the picture. And so the gap gets smaller. And while it seems that once again we cannot make it because the rules have shifted, here comes God and he changes the rules again in our favor.